The moment Ethan locked eyes with him across the crowded Seattle coffee shop, something shifted inside him that he could not explain. "Mind if I sit here?" the stranger asked, gesturing to the empty chair with a warm, easy smile that cut through the gray Pacific Northwest rain. Little did Ethan know this ordinary afternoon would pull him into the deepest love he had ever known and the most devastating truth imaginable. His name was Liam Brooks. He had kind blue eyes, tousled dark hair, and the calm confidence of someone who spent his days teaching high school history to restless teenagers. Ethan Harper, 28, a graphic designer who had fled his conservative Ohio hometown 3 years earlier, found himself talking longer than he intended. They discussed everything from favorite hiking trails to the latest indie bands playing at small venues downtown. The conversation flowed so naturally that when the barista announced closing time, neither wanted to leave. They exchanged numbers. 2 days later, Liam texted asking if Ethan wanted to grab dinner at a little Italian place near Pike Place Market. Ethan said yes without hesitation. Over plates of pasta and glasses of red wine, they shared pieces of their lives. Ethan spoke about the relief of finally living openly in a city that did not judge him the way his father did back home. Liam listened without pity, only understanding. He talked about his students, the ones who struggled with identity, and how he tried to create a safe space in his classroom. Their second date turned into a long walk along the waterfront. The rain had stopped, leaving the air crisp and clean. When Liam reached for Ethan's hand, the touch felt both thrilling and inevitable. They stopped under the glow of streetlights and kissed for the first time. It was soft, tentative, full of promise. Ethan pulled back, smiling. "I've been wanting to do that since the coffee shop." Liam laughed quietly. "Same here." In the weeks that followed, their relationship deepened quickly. They spent weekends hiking in the Olympic Mountains, cooking simple meals in Liam's small Capitol Hill apartment, and staying up late talking about dreams and fears. Ethan opened up about his strained family. His father, a retired Marine, had barely spoken to him since he came out at 22. His mother, Claire, sent careful cards and called on holidays, but there was always a distance, a sadness she never explained. Liam shared that he was adopted as a baby. His adoptive parents in California had been loving and supportive, but he always felt a quiet curiosity about his biological roots. "I've thought about searching," he admitted one night as they sat on the balcony overlooking the city lights. "But part of me is afraid of what I might find. What if she didn't want me?" Ethan reached over and took his hand. "Whatever happens, you do not have to face it alone. I'm here." Their friends noticed the change in Ethan. His best friend Mia, a fellow designer, teased him over coffee. "You are glowing, man. This Liam guy must be special." Ethan could not deny it. For the first time, he felt seen completely, loved without conditions. The relationship brought out a lightness in him that work deadlines and family guilt had buried for years. Yet small tensions appeared. When Ethan mentioned possibly visiting his family in Ohio for Thanksgiving, Liam grew excited at the idea of meeting them. Ethan hesitated. "My dad is complicated. He still struggles with me being gay. Bringing you home might start a war." Liam nodded, understanding but clearly disappointed. "We will go at your pace. I just want to be part of your life. All of it." As their 6-month anniversary neared, Liam suggested something playful. "Let's do one of those ancestry DNA tests. Could be fun to see where our families came from. Maybe we will find out we are both part Viking or something ridiculous." Ethan laughed and agreed. They ordered the kits online, swabbed their cheeks one lazy Sunday morning, and mailed them off. While they waited for results, life continued in its happy rhythm. They celebrated small victories. Liam's students acing a tough exam, Ethan's successful pitch for a major client. Evenings often ended with them curled up on the couch, talking about the future they were quietly building together. Ethan felt a rare sense of peace. Seattle had given him freedom, and Liam had given him belonging. He started imagining holidays together, maybe even moving in. The possibility of a real, lasting partnership filled the empty spaces his family had left behind. But the DNA kits sat in the back of his mind like a quiet promise. Neither of them expected the answers they would bring. The DNA results arrived on a crisp October morning. Ethan was at his desk sketching logos when his phone buzzed with the notification. He opened the email and scanned the report. The percentages for ethnic heritage were interesting but expected. Then he saw the relative matches. One name stood out: Liam Brooks, listed as a close family member. The predicted relationship was half-sibling. Ethan stared at the screen, his stomach dropping. It had to be a mistake. He refreshed the page, checked the account details. Same kit numbers they had submitted together. The shared DNA percentage hovered right around 50%. The system even flagged a potential maternal link. He called Liam immediately. "You need to check your results. Something is wrong with the test." Liam answered on the second ring, his voice light at first. "Hey, I just got mine too. It says we are." His words trailed off. "Half-brothers. Ethan, this cannot be right." They met at their favorite coffee shop, the same one where they had first spoken. The rain was back, drumming against the windows. They sat across from each other, laptops open, comparing reports. The evidence was clinical and undeniable. They shared the same mother. Liam's face paled. "My biological mother's name is listed here as Claire Harper. That is your mom's name, right?" Ethan nodded slowly. His throat felt tight. "Yeah, Claire. But she never mentioned another son. She was young when she had me. My dad always said it was just the two of them." They sat in stunned silence. The barista brought their usual drinks, but neither touched them. Liam finally spoke, voice barely above a whisper. "I was adopted through a private agency in California. My birth records were sealed. I never pushed because I did not want to hurt my adoptive parents. But the name matches. The age matches." Ethan's mind raced through old family stories. His mother had left Ohio briefly in her early 20s for a job in California. She returned pregnant with him and married his father soon after. No one ever talked about that time in detail. She always changed the subject when it came up. "This cannot be happening," Ethan said. "We have been together for months. We kissed. We planned a future." Liam reached across the table but stopped short of touching him. The hesitation hurt more than words could. "I know. I feel the same way. But blood does not lie, Ethan. We are half-brothers. Same mom, different fathers." The rest of the day blurred. They walked through the rain without umbrellas, ending up at Liam's apartment. They talked for hours, going over every memory, every shared laugh, searching for clues they had missed. Liam pulled out old adoption papers. The birth mother's name was indeed Claire, with a birth date that lined up perfectly with Ethan's mother. That evening, Ethan called his mother. He kept his voice steady. "Mom, did you ever have another child? Before me?" The long pause on the line told him everything. When Claire finally spoke, her voice cracked. "Ethan, we need to talk in person. Please come home." Liam wanted to go with him, but Ethan asked for space. "I need to hear this from her first. Alone." The drive to Ohio felt endless. Ethan replayed every moment with Liam. The way he laughed at bad jokes, the gentle way he listened, the future they had started to map out. Now every memory carried a shadow. The love he felt had not vanished. If anything, the shock made the feelings sharper, more painful. When he arrived at his childhood home, his father was absent, working late as usual. Claire waited in the kitchen, hands trembling around a cup of tea. She looked smaller than he remembered. "I was 19, she began. "I fell in love with a man who was not ready to be a father. When I got pregnant, he left. I was scared, alone in California. I made the hardest decision of my life. I gave the baby up for adoption. I thought it was the best chance for him to have a stable life." Tears slipped down her cheeks. "I came back to Ohio, met your father, and tried to move on. I never told anyone, not even him. When you were born, I promised myself I would protect you from my mistakes. I never imagined. Ethan sat stunned. The woman who had always seemed distant suddenly made sense. The sadness, the careful distance, the way she watched him with quiet guilt. You had a son out there this whole time, and I fell in love with him. Claire covered her mouth. Liam? The man you have been seeing? Ethan nodded. The room felt too small. We did DNA tests. Confirmed everything. His mother reached for him, but he pulled away. The betrayal stung. Not just the secret, but the years of silence that had unknowingly led him here. I need time, Mom. This changes everything. He drove back to Seattle the next day, mind spinning. Liam waited at the airport. They embraced, but the hug carried new weight. She confirmed it, Ethan said quietly. You are my half-brother. Liam closed his eyes. What do we do now? That question hung between them as they drove home. The love they had built felt both real and impossible. Society, family, morality all screamed that this was wrong. Yet the connection remained. Ethan wondered how something so beautiful could become so complicated in a single afternoon. The weeks after the revelation stretched into a tense limbo. Ethan and Liam agreed to pause the romantic side of their relationship while they processed the truth. They still saw each other almost daily, drawn together by habit and the depth of their bond. But every touch now carried hesitation. A hand on the shoulder felt loaded. A lingering look brought guilt. Liam threw himself into research. He contacted the adoption agency, requesting more records. The files confirmed what Claire had said. She had been young, overwhelmed, and convinced that adoption offered her child the best future. The father had signed away rights and disappeared. Liam's adoptive parents had provided a loving home, but the biological thread now connected him to Ethan in a way neither had chosen. Ethan struggled with anger toward his mother. He called her several times, each conversation peeling back more layers. She admitted she had suspected something when Ethan first mentioned Liam's name and background, but fear kept her silent. I did not want to destroy what you had found, she told him. I thought maybe the test was wrong. I was wrong to hope that. His father eventually learned the truth. The confrontation was brutal. This is sick, his dad shouted over the phone. You cannot be serious about continuing this. It is against God and nature. The words cut deep, echoing the same rejection Ethan had faced when he came out. This time the judgment felt heavier, layered with disgust and confusion. Friends offered mixed reactions. Mia was supportive but cautious. This is a lot to unpack. Maybe therapy could help both of you sort through it. Other friends distanced themselves, uncomfortable with the implications. The social circle that had once celebrated their relationship now whispered behind their backs. Liam suggested they attend counseling together. The therapist, a calm woman experienced in family trauma, listened without judgment. Your feelings are valid, she said. The emotional connection you built did not know about the blood tie. Now you are grieving the loss of the future you imagined while trying to redefine what your relationship can be. In private moments, the internal conflict raged. Ethan lay awake at night replaying their kisses, their plans, the way Liam made him feel safe. The attraction had not disappeared. If anything, the forbidden nature made it more intense. He hated himself for it. How can I still want this? He whispered to the dark. He is my brother. Liam faced his own battle. He had spent years wondering about his biological family, only to find a half-brother he had already fallen for. Part of me wishes we never took those tests, he confessed during one session. Ignorance felt kinder. They tried to redefine boundaries. They went back to being friends, sharing meals and hikes, but the undercurrent remained. One evening after a long hike, they sat on a log overlooking the sound. Liam turned to him. I still love you, Ethan. Not just as family. The romantic part has not gone away for me either. Ethan's heart ached. I feel the same. But what kind of people would we be if we ignored this? Society would tear us apart. Our families already are. The pressure mounted when Claire flew to Seattle to meet Liam in person. The reunion was emotional. She cried as she hugged the son she had given up. Liam stood stiff at first, then softened. Watching them together stirred complicated feelings in Ethan. Joy that his mother and brother had found each other. Jealousy that their connection felt simpler than his own, and guilt for resenting any of it. His father refused to participate. "I will not be part of this circus," he said when asked. The rejection deepened the family fracture. Ethan realized he was losing pieces of his life he had fought hard to keep. As winter approached, the tension reached a breaking point. Liam received a job offer in California, closer to his adoptive parents. "Maybe some distance would help us both think clearly," he suggested. Ethan felt panic at the thought. "Or it will just make us miss what we cannot have." They argued for the first time in months. Accusations flew. Ethan accused Liam of running away. Liam accused Ethan of wanting to pretend nothing had changed. In the heat of it, Ethan revealed he had secretly contacted more relatives through the DNA site, hoping to find other connections that might dilute the shock. Liam felt betrayed by the unilateral move. "You went behind my back," Liam said quietly. "After everything, you still kept secrets." The betrayal stung both ways. That night they slept in separate rooms for the first time since the discovery. Ethan stared at the ceiling, wondering how love could survive when every choice seemed to carry a price. The job offer in California forced a decision. Liam accepted it. The move was scheduled for early spring. In the final months together in Seattle, they tried to create closure while grappling with unfinished emotions. They revisited the places where their story began. The coffee shop, the waterfront, the mountain trails. Each visit felt like saying goodbye to a version of themselves that no longer existed. Claire visited again, staying in a hotel to give them space. She tried to mediate, encouraging open conversations. "I caused this pain by keeping secrets," she admitted. "But you two found each other for a reason. Maybe not the reason you wanted, but family is family." Liam began building a relationship with her through long phone calls and shared photos. He learned about his biological father, a man who had passed away years earlier without knowing he had a son. The information brought some peace but also highlighted what had been lost. Ethan watched from the sidelines, feeling increasingly isolated. His own father had stopped answering calls. Work suffered as concentration slipped. He started seeing a therapist alone to unpack the layers of grief, guilt, and lingering desire. One night, after too much wine, the boundaries they had set crumbled. They kissed again, desperate and familiar. For a few minutes, the world narrowed to just the two of them. Then reality crashed back. Liam pulled away first. "We cannot keep doing this. It is destroying us both." Ethan nodded, tears in his eyes. "I know, but letting go feels like losing the best part of my life." The argument that followed was raw. Liam accused Ethan of romanticizing something that could never be healthy. Ethan accused Liam of being ruled by fear and societal judgment. "What if the love we feel is real regardless of blood?" Ethan asked. "Are we supposed to throw it away because of a piece of paper and some DNA?" Liam's response was quiet but firm. "Blood matters, Ethan. It matters to me. I cannot look at you the same way anymore without seeing my brother. The romantic feelings are mixed up with family now. Feels wrong." The words landed like a blow. Ethan spent the night on the couch, replaying the conversation. He understood Liam's perspective, but part of him rebelled against it. Why should biology dictate the heart? They had built something beautiful before the truth surfaced. Was it fair to erase that? Friends weighed in when asked. Some said separate immediately and focus on building a platonic sibling bond. Others, more progressive, argued that as consenting adults with no shared upbringing, the moral line was gray. "You did not grow up together," Mia pointed out. "It is not the same as traditional incest." But the family fallout is real. The debate raged in Ethan's mind. He researched similar cases online, finding stories of genetic sexual attraction and half-sibling reunions that ended in heartbreak or secrecy. None offered easy answers. As moving day approached, they packed Liam's apartment together. The physical labor provided distraction. In the final evening, they sat on the empty floor sharing takeout. "I do not regret loving you," Liam said. "Even knowing what we know now, you helped me find my roots. That matters." Ethan swallowed hard. "You helped me believe I deserved love. I will always be grateful. But I do not know how to be your brother yet." They hugged for a long time at the airport the next morning. Liam boarded the plane to California. Ethan drove home alone, the city suddenly feeling emptier. In the months that followed, they texted regularly. The conversations shifted from lovers to something like family. Liam shared updates about his new job and budding relationship with Claire. Ethan shared work projects and therapy progress. The romantic tension lingered beneath the surface, unspoken but present. Ethan began dating casually, but no one compared to what he had lost. He wondered if he would ever feel that connection again. The internal conflict continued. Part of him wanted to fight for the original love. Another part recognized the wisdom in letting go. Claire tried to bring them together for a family visit, but Ethan declined. The wounds were still too fresh. His father remained distant, the family unit fractured beyond repair. Through it all, Ethan learned the true cost of secrets and choices. Love had brought him joy and pain in equal measure. The man he once saw as his future was now his brother. The line between the two felt impossible to navigate without losing pieces of himself. A year passed. Liam settled into life in California, teaching at a new school and building a careful relationship with Claire. They met for coffee, exchanged stories, and slowly filled in the missing chapters of their lives. Ethan visited once, staying in a hotel to avoid awkwardness. The three of them had dinner together. Felt surreal, like playing roles in a play none of them had rehearsed. During that visit, old feelings resurfaced. A quiet moment alone with Liam on the hotel balcony brought back memories. "Do you ever wonder what would have happened if we never took those tests?" Ethan asked. Liam looked out at the lights. "Every day. But wondering does not change reality. We are brothers now. That has to mean something." Ethan returned to Seattle changed. The trip clarified that the romantic chapter was truly over, yet the emotional tie remained strong. He threw himself into work, launching his own small design studio. Success brought distraction, but nights were still hard. Liam started dating someone new, a fellow teacher named Marcus. When he shared the news, Ethan felt a sharp pang of jealousy mixed with genuine happiness for him. "He seems good for you," Ethan texted back. The reply came quickly. "He is, but no one will ever replace what we had." The exchange highlighted the unique pain of their situation. They had lost a partner and gained a brother, but the transition was messy and incomplete. Family pressure intensified when Ethan's father suffered a mild heart attack. The hospital visit forced a reluctant reunion. His dad, weakened in the bed, looked at him with tired eyes. "I do not understand any of this, son, but life is short. Maybe it is time to let some things go." The words were not forgiveness, but they cracked open a door. Ethan began tentative conversations with his father about acceptance, not just of his sexuality but of the complicated family expansion. Progress was slow and painful. Meanwhile, Liam faced his own moral crisis. His new relationship with Marcus was healthy, yet he struggled with guilt over the past. In therapy, he explored whether his feelings for Ethan had been genuine love or an intense form of genetic attraction amplified by emotional vulnerability. The therapist helped him see both were possible and neither diminished his worth. Ethan dated more seriously, entering a relationship with a kind architect named Jordan. The connection was comfortable but lacked the soul-deep spark he had known with Liam. He wondered if that spark was lost forever or simply transformed. A major confrontation occurred when Claire suggested a family holiday gathering including both sons and their partners. Liam agreed. Ethan hesitated but eventually accepted. The dinner was tense at first. His father sat stiffly. Liam and Marcus were polite. Jordan tried to ease the mood with jokes. In a private moment in the kitchen, Liam pulled Ethan aside. "Seeing you with someone else hurts more than I expected." Ethan met his eyes. "Same here, but we made our choices. We chose not to destroy each other or the family." Liam nodded. "I think we did the right thing, but doing the right thing does not always feel good." That conversation marked a turning point. They both began to release the what-ifs and focused on building a genuine sibling relationship. They shared inside jokes, supported each other through career challenges, and slowly created new memories that were not tainted by romance. Yet the internal questions persisted. Ethan often lay awake wondering if they had given up too easily or if they had shown strength by choosing ethics over desire. Society offered no clear roadmap for their situation. Friends remained divided. Some called them brave for walking away. Others wondered if true love should have transcended biology. The betrayal element lingered in small ways. Ethan sometimes felt Liam had chosen safety over their original bond. Liam felt Ethan had pushed too hard to preserve the romance. These resentments faded with time but never fully disappeared. Through the process, both men experienced personal growth. Ethan became more open with his emotions and less defined by family approval. Liam grew more secure in his identity, no longer defined solely by his adoption story. The family, though scarred, began healing in small increments. Claire found peace in having both sons in her life. Ethan's father attended a few therapy sessions and started to show tentative acceptance. 2 years after the discovery, Ethan and Liam had settled into a careful but genuine brotherly relationship. They texted often, visited when schedules allowed, and supported each other through life's milestones. Liam proposed to Marcus in a quiet beach ceremony. Ethan stood as best man, genuinely happy for them. The speech he gave focused on resilience and finding love despite complicated beginnings. Ethan's relationship with Jordan deepened into something stable and loving. They moved in together and talked about adopting a child someday. The spark was different from what he had with Liam, but it was real and built on honesty. The family gatherings became less awkward over time. Claire beamed seeing her sons together, even if the path to that point had been painful. Ethan's father never fully embraced the situation but stopped voicing outright condemnation. Small victories accumulated, yet quiet moments still brought reflection. On the anniversary of the day they met, Ethan visited the original coffee shop alone. He sat at the same table and remembered the spark that had changed everything. The love he felt for Liam had been transformed, not erased. It lived now in a different form, protective, supportive, familial. Liam called that evening. "I was thinking about you today too," he said. "Thank you for choosing the hard path with me. I know it cost you." Ethan smiled into the phone. "It cost both of us. But I think we paid the price for something worth keeping. A family that is finally honest." They talked for a long time, laughing about old memories and sharing new ones. The conversation felt free of the romantic tension that had once defined them. The wounds had scarred over, leaving them stronger. Ethan learned that love, in all its forms, demands choices. Sometimes those choices mean letting go of one version of happiness to preserve another. He no longer questioned whether their original connection was real. The tragedy was that biology and society made it unsustainable in its original shape. Through the experience, he awakened to deeper truths about identity, loyalty, and the limits of personal desire when it collides with larger responsibilities. Liam's journey mirrored his own, from shock and grief to acceptance and growth. The family secret that had nearly destroyed them ultimately reshaped them into something more resilient. Secrets no longer held power when brought into the light, even if the light revealed uncomfortable realities. As Ethan watched the Seattle rain from his new home with Jordan, he felt a hard-won peace. The stranger he had loved had become the brother he never knew he needed. The price had been high, but the lessons endured. In the end, was their decision to step away from romance the morally correct choice that preserved their integrity? Or did they surrender something rare and beautiful to appease society and outdated taboos? What would you have done?